And are the microphones rolling?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. It is 7:04. And we'll call this meeting to order. Ruth, would you call roll, please?
Andy Hitchcock.
Here.
John Buda.
Here.
Martin O'Toole.
Here.
Cindy Matej.
Here.
All right. We have one thing on the agenda for us tonight before we get to that. Todd, would you swear in anyone who is planning to give testimony, please?
Sure. Since this is actually a legal hearing, anyone who wants to give input tonight on the application has to give an oath. So anyone who's going to speak, if you could just raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give this evening will be truthful?
Yes.
Thank you.
And are you here for observation? Okay, perfect. All right, before we get to our agenda item, we do have the minutes from last meeting to be approved. Did everyone have a chance to review those? Any questions or discussion? Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right,
Did you make the motion?
I did make a
Okay.
motion.
Yeah. Andy Hitchcock.
Yes,
John Buda.
Yes.
Martin O'Toole.
Yes.
Cindy Matej.
Yes.
all right. So the item in front of us tonight is BZA case number 24-02, an application for a front yard setback variance. We have Mr. Frederick Ritt in front of us. All right, the floor is yours. If you could let us know a little bit about what your plan is, what you're trying to accomplish, just kind of tell the story to the board, and we'll probably have a few questions for you.
Okay, I'm just trying to add a front awning, and I'm gonna tear out the walkway and pave it so it'll be, instead of having to step up, it'll be pitched, so there'll be basically no step into the house. And then there'll be an awning with 3 piers coming off the front, so a reverse gable with a shed slope on the front that's gonna go from the driveway to the edge of the front door, so roughly 21 feet.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, as of now, they're currently, there's nothing there at all. So in the wintertime, when it's snowing or when we have freezing rain, it's just coming right down and it's like a nice rink if you go out the front door.
Right.
So,
Okay.
plus I think it'll enhance the look of the house.
You're welcome to continue on, but any other things that you wanted to say?
No, that's basically
Okay.
all there is.
Seemed pretty straightforward. Members of the board, do you have questions for the applicant? John, I see you nodding.
Yes. Should be more verbal. So, Mr. Ritt and I had an opportunity, he was kind enough to give me a tour of what's intended. And I guess I have one question for Dave, and that is on the level plan. Ruth, I think if you scroll up. Okay, that'll work. So what Mr. Ritt and I discussed was in order for this to improve the access to the home was, an intent was to remove in effect one of the steps right in front of the front door. What is it, about 2 or 3 inches?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, there's a step there, and then there's a step at the door frame. And so the height of what will be constructed, the concrete will be at the level of the existing
Driveway.
first step in front of the door. And then what we discussed was it would be level with the driveway, at the driveway. So is there anything in this drawing that shows that the
Slope?
Yeah, the
slope you're thinking about?
Well, I'll call it the patio, since it's referred to as a patio, that the patio would meet the driveway at the same height. That way, basically, anything wheeled, for example, would just go right up. So I just wanted to check with Dave whether there's anything in the drawings or the plans that show that the driveway and the patio would be the same height where they meet.
I don't think so, but the main concern with the board here now is just the overhang encroaching, the driveway and sidewalk.
Okay.
Nothing to do.
All right. Well, because the reason for it is accessibility.
Yes,
That's the reason for my question. if the step is being eliminated in front of the front door, it didn't make sense to me if there was, if it was perfectly level and that step still remained at the driveway. That seemed to not match why this was being requested.
It should be issued.
What shouldn't be an issue.
That, what you're talking about, the step from the driveway. What we're talking about is just the overhang on his porch, the step in the walkway. Not a concern.
Okay.
John, you're just saying that the drawing doesn't show a slope going from the driveway up to the house?
Right, it doesn't show that level.
Okay.
Well, it's, first of all, it's 21 feet and, 9 feet out. So we're talking, it's gonna get floated, so we're less than an inch every 2 feet.
Okay.
So there's not even, the slope won't even be noticeable. If you were in a rocking chair, it's not gonna be leaning forward.
My second question, Mr. Rick, was the width of 9 feet. Drove through the neighborhood, looked at Hazelwood properties, same size houses, looked at Laurel, same size houses, and I didn't see anything that was anywhere close to 9 feet from the house. Most of them looked like 3, 4 feet. I'll call it sidewalk width. And so I asked, why did it need to be 9 feet? To me, that's more of a patio than an awning. And he said it could be considered to reduce that. So I would be amenable to some smaller distance and therefore a smaller variance. I mean, I was thinking maybe 5 feet because the bay window comes out a foot and then those beautiful posts, they're roughly a foot. So that would still allow 3 feet clear access, so a total of about 5.
Out of curiosity, was the 9 foot, is it an arbitrary number, is it an architectural number?
That's
Is it
what
a-
came- I mean, that's basically where my current walkway ends right now, so I
Okay.
just figured I would cover the current walkway. I mean, there's other houses on the streets, they are definitely more than 3 feet. People have decks on the front of their house, someone built a deck on the front last year. If it's 3 feet, you can't sit in a chair. You don't have room to walk by if there's chairs sitting there. I mean, and there's other ones where they're walking up steps that are more than 3 feet wide. And there's railings on either side of them. So, I mean, I would go to 7 feet if that wasn't, if there's an issue, but anything under that, I mean, it's
Right.
kind of.
I'm kind of confused. Because I know I live close to you, and I know that there is like a walkway right there. I thought you wanted to go from the walkway 7 more feet out. Is that what you do?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with John. I feel like that's it's so close to the road opposed to some of the other houses around there. And that would be my only concern, especially I think do you have any children? That would, because there's not a lot of yard to play with then. And that,
My kids are all grown.
okay,
But the thing is, that you have to take into consideration, this is an open porch. So closer to the road the walkway is still the same amount from the road. It would just have a roof over it. It wouldn't, we're not adding square footage to the front of the house. So it's still open, you're just gonna have the roof line in the front that's extended out 9 feet, that's open.
So is that, if I'm understanding right, please, I heard 2 different things, I just want to make sure I'm understanding it. So the current walkway that's there, and then the exterior limit of that current walkway, is that 9 feet from the house? It is, okay, so you're not going past the current walkway line,
No.
you're going to the current walkway line.
Correct.
Got it. And what's in there now, is it, I think
It's just brick.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But the roof would come out.
Just the roof would come up, right, there's nothing, it's not like I'm moving a wall out, it's just the roof.
Yeah, I would say in that case, the space between the sidewalk and the house doesn't really have much utility now, right? It's just Right, yeah,
planting beds or something.
Yeah, there's beds on the side and then there's beds further up in
Right.
front of the yard.
It just seems like the size of the roof, I mean, that looks pretty substantial. And it'd be much bigger than what I saw in the rest of the neighborhood.
So from my perspective, well, let me ask a question first. Are you part of the Country Estates Homeowners Association? Okay. I didn't think so. And Dave, is that why we're referencing the older zoning code, the 1947?
Yes, that's part of the reason.
Okay, so it's in the Chagrin Heights.
Yeah, that's mostly anything on, Hazelwood down there, that
Yep.
goes back to 47 zoning.
Okay. So as you're heading up Hazelwood into Country Estates and you go past Laurel, there's some pretty big trees. Like there's a noticeable difference in my opinion, once you cross Laurel. You get into Country Estates, even if you're not part of the association.
I'm the first house out of the association.
And I see I drive past Laurel and I see myself in Country Estates, and you start seeing the bigger houses, you start seeing the colonials, and not that yours is out of place, but I actually think this brings you closer to the architecture of your neighborhood, whether or not you pay dues to be in it.
Right.
Like that's kind of how I looked at it. So just a difference of perspective from the neighbor, from my colleagues here. Actually, even if you are not part of the association, I was looking at the other houses on Hazelwood into the development, and there are a variety of architectural types. There were some with very flat facades, others that had a small porch, others that had so I didn't look at it as out of place. I'm guessing though, if you drove the other way and drove from Country Estates down into the Chagrin Heights, that might be a very different perspective on leaving one area and getting to the next. But I don't know if it was big trees or if there's something there, but there was almost like a visual block when you get past Laurel. And maybe it's the house in the corner.
The corner house she's got, her backyard is the side of my house.
Right.
So there's a fence and taller trees.
And as soon as you clear that, to me, again, it's just as if I'm now in Country Estates. So again, from my perspective, I see this as a welcome addition to the house to conform to
I agree.
the neighborhood.
Definitely changes the curb appeal, makes it look a lot nicer.
So I'm not multitasking, I'm looking at the plot lines here on the phone. So between you and your neighbor on the corner, it looks like there's another lot between the corner house and your house, and I'm just wondering, is that lot yours or is that lot theirs?
So my house is the one to the left of the blue, right there.
Yep.
And then the corner house is next to me.
Oh,
So she faces Laurel.
all right, okay. Yeah,
So
Google Maps.
her side yard is Hazelwood, and truthfully, hers is it's probably one of the original houses there before
Got it.
the zoning was done.
Okay.
But I don't think her side yard is even close to 25 feet from the road.
Got it.
So that actually looks like two lots.
It does, yeah, Google Maps has her on two lots.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. All right, good, thanks.
Dave, a question for you. Does the Architectural Review Board need to weigh in on this for any reason?
I think we're going there, right, Ruth?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr.
Okay,
Riddle's that's
so-
going to the ARB, yes.
And an approval from this board doesn't automatically get the homeowner what there's still another approval process beyond
Yes.
this.
Architectural.
Okay. One question that I have for you just about the project itself, and not having been to your house, why the front and not the side? I didn't go down the driveway, didn't see what's behind it.
My house is right on, there's nothing that I can do on the side.
Okay.
It's driveway.
All right, so there's a bit of a corner. I guess that was my assumption that it's a deck or something back there.
It wraps around, it's just patio in the back, and the driveway wraps around.
Mhm.
There's a brick.
Oh, okay. That's a patio that's
It's just
rounded.
brick pavers.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But the fence goes across my driveway,
Mhm.
and I have dogs, so the fence gets open to cut the grass, excuse me, whatnot, but other than that, I don't park back there, I don't park it. Kids have too much stuff. They sit around.
Other questions from the board? Thoughts?
I guess just, if I move just one, is there any reason, and maybe if you know the neighborhood as well, is there any reason to think that any neighbor would be unhappy about this? Has anybody expressed unhappiness?
Most of them I've talked to, and seen the drawings, so,
Okay, I mean, there's not any smoldering discontent.
no, not that I'm aware of.
And Ruth, I assume we didn't receive any sort of communication from neighbors?
No.
Okay.
They were
I know they
all,
all got it, because they all told me.
Yeah, okay, good, all right. Okay, thank you.
All right. All set, Marty,
Yep,
John?
thank you, yep.
Cindy?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else from me. Mr. Ritt, anything else you wanted to share?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion. So for the property located at 406 Hazelwood, I will make a motion to approve a front yard setback variance of 9 feet to allow an addition to be 28 feet from the front property line. Subject to, I will say, the South Russell Village Architectural Review Board approving the plans.
7 feet.
Is it set?
It's 7.
7 feet.
7 feet.
Okay. Well, let me start that one over. I was reading that. All right. For the property located at 406 Hazelwood, I will make a motion to approve a front yard setback variance of 7 feet to allow an addition to be 28 feet from the front property line. Subject to the South Russell Village Architectural Review Board approving. Any questions on the motion or discussion?
Nope.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Andy Hitchcock,
Yes?
John Buda,
Yes.
Martin O'Toole,
yes,
Cindy Matejka.
Yes.
All right.
mazel tov.
One step down, one to go. All right. I don't think we have any old business, and I don't think we have any new business. Anything that Mr. Mayor?
I went to, the visitor tonight is Kevin Tackett. Kevin lives at the end of Schneider Road in South Russell, grew up in Bainbridge. Kevin's father was heavily involved in the Bainbridge BZA for many years, and he now thinks this would be fun. So Kevin is a United States Army veteran, lives in the village, and stepped forward and said he'd be interested in being an alternate. We will talk after this. If he is still interested after tonight, council would approve him at our June council meeting, and he would be available to step in as a member of the BZA as an alternate. We have Lindsay, and then we could also have Kevin. What would you like to say? Anything?
No, like I said, like Mr. Finn said, I grew up in Bainbridge, right in by the South Russell border, so, born and raised here, went to the Army, came back and raised a family there, so, I got the opportunity to join you guys and be part of the community.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. All right. Careful what you ask for. With no other business on the agenda, we can call this meeting to a close. We'll adjourn at 7:22.
All right, good meeting.
Mr. Ritt, Andy Hitchcock.
Yeah, I'll come by this week.
There's no hurry. There's no hurry, so whenever you're comfortable with it, I know that we know the cutoff date.
She's nothing to
We'll see what the agenda. All right, take care.
Thank you, take care.
Exterior spaces.
Yes.
All right.
completely different. And like you said, in the neighborhood, he's right on that border.
Yes.
I live in Country Estates, I didn't want to say that too. So that was, Andy's
John,
perspective
you
was a
going up
good thing.
to Indianapolis?
Not
Have
necessarily
a good time.
agreeing with it,
It's
but
in
some of our
Indianapolis.
perspectives, it was what I was saying, it's
Somewhere
way into
Oh,
Country
fun.
Estates.
You probably do.
Been there 27 times.
Wow.
But anyway, I hope you get to, I'm sure he'll make you stand up there and do that.
Fun enough to been doing it 27 times. Wow.